stream.
But you're going to have to wait. Hello, everybody. Let me scoot over a little bit so Aaron can be seen. Aaron, say hi, Aaron.
Hello.
Like I said on Facebook right now, I'm trying to my Facebook on Aaron's phone. That way I can reply to any comments. Right, that's for YouTube. I can't see Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
So a video for Mercedes edited. All the software I tried was derpy as hell, and for whatever reason, I just couldn't get it to work, get it edited. So
edited.
I decided to do this to see if, or not to see, but to get it out this way, to get out my video this way. It's going to be live. It's going to be raw. It's going to be uncut and uncensored and, you know, unedited. So I'm sorry if it's a hot mess. Sorry. But like I said, right now, I'm just trying to get this figured out so I can look at my live and try to find comments, because on my phone, it's like full screen and I can't see anything. So if anybody's saying anything, just bear with me. Let's see. Let's see here. Num 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 num.
What?
Let's see if I can actually see the comments on Facebook. Hopefully I can. How do I go about doing that? Okay.
Put it like this.
I don't think that's going to help my child. Nope. Okay. Well, those of you on Facebook, let me see. Hold the phone. As I drop the phone, okay, I can write comments, but I can't see the comments. So Facebook, you're just going to have to bear with me. I'll see your comments after the stream. Go over to YouTube if you want to ask a question or anything. Let's see. Hi, Mama. Hi, Carolyn. Hi, guys. So, yeah, I just want to go just kind of ramble a little bit until hopefully we get a few more people up watching the stream. Like I said, the stream is going to be all about Mercedes, this little weirdo right behind me. Not Stitch. Not that weirdo. The other weirdo in blue. Stream is all about her today. Hi, Mita. I love you. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing. For those of you who don't know, Mercedes passed away May 21st of this year. She had lots of health issues her entire life. She's only 15 years old. My glasses are getting on my nerves. I'm going to take them off. The glare from the screen is just irritating. So now I can barely see. So if you guys comment, I'm going to be like getting real close and squinting.
Actually, I'll just tell you the comments.
No, I can't. I'll be able to see them. But, you know, she had health issues all her life, and she finally succumbed to some of those issues. I'll explain all that later. Let's see how many we have. We have 5 on Facebook and 4 on YouTube. I'll just wait a little bit longer. I'll get started at like 5:07-ish. Just give people a little more time to catch up and get in here to really get started so people can, you know, understand what's going on with her. But yeah, we're here for Miss Mercedes. Little A did dye his hair. And so far, everybody that's seen it has really, really liked it. Even his dad didn't say anything bad about it. He just said, oh, I'm going to shave your head. That's just what Aaron always tells him when he has long hair.
He loves hair bald.
But yes, he dyed his hair. Who else is over here? A couple of Mercedes' friends. Hi, girls. Thank you guys for being our friends. You guys were great. But yeah, so forgive me if I look over here because I have my phone right here doing Facebook. The laptop's right here doing YouTube. So that's why I'm kind of like back and forth. So yeah. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, like I said, YouTube, I'm sorry I can't look at the comments right now. It's just being weird. It's just full screen. I can't see it. But YouTube, I can see your comments, obviously. So if you have any questions or anything throughout the stream, don't hold back. Ask any questions you want to ask. You know, this is just going to be a chill, laid-back stream for people who love Mercedes, people who didn't love Mercedes or know Mercedes and want to know more about Lewis-Dietz syndrome, that want to know more about her life, that want to know more just about anything in general, it's open to everybody. You know, I have 57 subscribers. A lot of them I probably don't even personally know. But yeah, if anybody has any questions or comments or anything they want to say, YouTube is your platform. Like I said, Facebook, I look better on Facebook than the digress. Okay, what time is it right now? How many do we have? 2 people left on YouTube. Well, fine, we don't want you here anyway. And we still have 4 on Facebook. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that said. I was pretty sure not a whole lot of people were going to watch because like the only people who care are family and friends. So Mercedes was born February 27th, 2005. I was 17. I used to say it was the best and the worst day of my entire life. Now it was just the best day of my entire life. She was a pistol of a baby. She was a really good baby. But I'll start with the day she was born. I had a C-section. It was an emergency C-section. My body just wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing. So they took me in early on a Sunday morning, and she was born at 5:55 on a Sunday, February 27, 2005. And as soon as they took her out, they kind of, whoop, here she is, and then took her away. Like, that's all I got to see of her. They sewed me up. Her dad went to go see what was going on, and then they took her. And I ended up in recovery because I just had a cesarean. I was in recovery for about 6 hours, sleeping. Her dad slept. We woke up when his dad got to the hospital, and his dad was like, "Hey, there's something missing. Where's the baby?" And we were like, "Oh," like, for those of you who live in you know our hospital. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for now. But they didn't wake me up. They didn't wake him up and tell him anything. We had no idea what was going on at this point. So his dad leaves the room, and we can hear him with the door closed to our hospital room screaming at the nurses. "I want to know where the fuck my granddaughter is. Why haven't you told my son and daughter-in-law anything?" He was just freaking out.
Wait, my dad?
No, her dad. You didn't even exist. I was talking about Reese's dad. His dad, Reese's dad.
Why do you put your hand over here?
Stop. See, this is why I didn't want him in the live, because this is all he does. Yeah. But anyway, see, now you got me all messed up. Okay. So, sorry about that. So he comes back in after yelling at the nurses, and he tells us, "Do you know where the hell your daughter is?" And we're like, "No, that's why you just went out there." Like, tell us. He said that she's in the neonatal intensive care unit. He's like, "Are you serious? They didn't tell you anything?" I was like, "They didn't wake me up. They didn't tell me anything at all. I didn't know jack." So him and her dad leave and go to the NICU to see her. They come back a little while later, and I asked the nurse, "Can I go see her?" And the nurse told me, "No, you just had major surgery. You can't leave the room. You need to stay here." So as soon as she walked out of the room, I looked at Mercedes' dad. I said, "You're going to go get me a wheelchair," and I'm going. He didn't even question it. He went, found me a wheelchair, brought it back into the room. At this point, I still could barely move. I was in so much pain. He had to pick me up and put me in the wheelchair. And at that point, that was a feat. I was a big girl. I mean, yeah, I just lost 25 pounds because I just had a baby, but I was still big. So he wheels me. I'm about to wheel out of my hospital room, and the nurse is coming in. And the nurse tells me, "I thought I said you couldn't go anywhere." This is where Mama Bear kicks in, okay? I look at this nurse, and I very not lovingly tell her, "Is it your kid in the fucking NICU and you don't know what the fuck's going on?" "I don't think so, so move the fuck out of my way." "Oh, you don't have to be so rude." So we wheel by her. He takes me downstairs. We go to the NICU, and the first thing we see is she's all swaddled, looking all cute in a little baby blanket. And the nurse is feeding her with this weird nipple thing. It's called a Haberman feeder. If you want to Google it, you can. I don't have any. I wish I kept one, as a souvenir, memento, whatever. But they're like they're long and skinny, and then they have like the nipple part on top. And the baby obviously puts the nipple part in her mouth, and you have to squeeze the sides to help them with suction because she had a cleft palate. And the nurse was explaining all this to us. A cleft palate is basically, instead of like having the uvula back there, I know I'm not explaining it like a doctor or anything, it's like a hole in the very back part of your mouth, like up at the roof of your mouth. So she had that. And then the nurse unswaddled her for us and showed us her foot. She had a club foot also, which means her right foot was bent like that. It wasn't like a straight foot like this. It was bent, like curved in like that.
Like a fist?
Not like a fist, it was just curved in. And they told us all that. And the nurse said, other than that, we don't really know anything else medically. Oh, and she swallowed her own poop on the way out. I guess she thought it was a chocolate bar or something. And whoop, there it went. So she was having difficulty breathing. That's like the main reason why they took her to the NICU in the first place. Worth her. So you guys just put her back in the freaking incubator or whatever the hell that thing was. So they let me hold her. As soon as her little head, sorry, there was a bug. As soon as her little head hit my elbow, I lost it. I just started bawling. And her dad looks at me. He's like, babe, are you okay? And I was like, I just love her so much. And it's a feeling you cannot describe to people. The feeling you feel the very first time you see your child. It's crazy. Like, you can explain love to someone, but you can't explain that kind of love to someone. So it was a very emotional time. Fast forward, I think a day or two later, after they've run some tests on her, and, friends and family got to go see her and everything. So, there were visiting hours and stuff like that. So that was nice. The doctor, while we're in the NICU, comes to see us, and he tells us after running tests, they thought she had something called Stickler syndrome. They told us that she had the dilated aorta, the mitral valve prolapse, and they told us due to this, she would be deaf and blind by the time she was 6 months old. They did not say there could be a chance. They did not say she might be. They said she is going to be deaf and blind by the time she's 6 months old. I'm a 17-year-old kid. I'm already, I just had a baby. That in itself is a scary time when you're a teenager. Yes, my fault, scary time. But then to be told that your child isn't going to be able to hear or see you ever is something very hard to wrap your head around. Just like, oh, I'm taking home a potato. Like, what? So you start thinking, how am I supposed to talk to my child, know what my child's going to need? This is going to be hard. So we left, and her dad had to tell my family because I just couldn't. I was a hot mess. I was falling apart everywhere. But, fast forward like 4 or 5 days later, she finally gets to go home. We come home, and I have to tell this story because it's hilarious. My nephew was 4 years old, and he was living with us at the time, and he has autism. He was so used to being the only child, so to speak, And so we come home, and we're comfortable and get back in our routine and things like that. And the next day, Mercedes is in her bassinet in the living room. We're all just hanging out. He comes out of his room, sees she's still there, looks in the bassinet at her, looks at me and my mom and says, baby, go home now? And I was like, Christian, baby lives here. He was like, no, baby, go home now. And I was like, no, she lives here, buddy. Like, it's cool. She lives here. So he wanted no part of her at all. But now we're going to skip a big chunk of her life because all it was hospital stays, doctor's appointments, boring stuff that, nothing of substance. 2008. So I guess it's not a big chunk. It's about 3 years. In 2008, she ends up in the hospital in March. They did not think she was going to make it. She was having all kinds of issues breathing. Her asthma was just really, really bad. She had some kind of lung virus. Let's see. Gippy! Hi, Gippy. Sorry. Okay. My sister's here. So we ended up in the hospital. And it was actually around my sister's birthday. I missed her birthday that year. they didn't think she was going to make it. Oh, and also, side note, she's 3 years old and she can still hear and see. Just want to throw that out there, doctors. So she's, we didn't know she was going to make it. She was on a medically induced coma. It was bad. So we're there for, I think, 5 days to a week. I think it was a week, 7 or 8 days. And she turned 18 that year. I think she just got a car, and I missed a lot. But we thought she was going to die. And it was so weird because I was completely alone. The nurses kept telling me that I could leave. And I was like, no. Do parents actually leave their kids when they're in a medically induced coma? How?
People do that.
I don't understand how. I don't get that.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So, yes, I was bored the whole time. I watched a lot of TV. Luckily, they had a shower in the hospital that I could use at the cafeteria, and my aunt brought me some money and things, and her grandma brought me some clothes and money and stuff to get food and take care of myself. So that was lucky. So we did all that. Yes, that is true, Mireya. Our hospital is absolute garbage. We were in Phoenix at the time, so we weren't here. Phoenix has 2 of the best hospitals we've ever been in. Phoenix Children's and St. Joe's are amazing.
St. Jude's.
Joe's.
It is?
St. Jude's is a different hospital. But yeah, our hospital's bad. But we were up there, and finally things got better. She was up and talking and took control of the TV, and all she wanted to watch was SpongeBob and Frozen. So that's all we watched. Can you guess what show I hate now? I hate SpongeBob. And it's her fault and his fault, because when he was little, that's all he watched.
It's the best day.
So it was bad. But we get to go home. Everything's fine. Everything's great. And, after that, she had more hospital stays, but no big scares like that. Fast forward to when she's 12 years old. We saw a geneticist. We saw the cardiologist. I mean, we were seeing the cardiologist intermittently, in between. But we saw him again, and he tells me, he's like, hey, it doesn't make sense that she has these heart issues going along with the sticklers, because from what I understand, I don't know if anybody's watching and they know the differences. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But from what I was led to believe, that the heart issues have nothing to do with sticklers. So they were confused as to how she had sticklers with these heart issues. It didn't make sense. So her heart doctor told me, he's like, hey, there's actually another syndrome that really mirrors what's going on with Mercedes. We need to test her for it. I was like, okay, let's do this. So we went and saw the geneticist. She got tested, I got tested, and her father got tested. It's usually genetic, but it could be one of those fly-by-night things that just happens. Mind you, I didn't do drugs. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. None of those things while I was pregnant. I don't do any of those things now. I drink occasionally, but I don't do drugs, and I don't smoke cigarettes. Never have, never will. But so we get those tests done. We wait for the results. Lo and behold, Mercedes has a syndrome called Lewis-Dietz syndrome. I've heard it said many different ways, so I'm sorry if I'm not saying it correctly. But it's a connective tissue disorder, which we already knew she had. Stickler's is a connective tissue disorder. But it affects the heart on a pretty big scale. So that explained the dilated aorta, the mitral valve prolapse. It explained all that stuff. So we're like, okay, good. We have this. Now what do we do? Our doctor wanted to do surgery. So we're like, all right, Mr. Cardiologist, let's do surgery. So we get set, and it was rescheduled 3 times. I can't remember why the first 2 times, or it was rescheduled twice. I can't remember why it was rescheduled the first time, but the second time was because all the doctors, all the king's horses and all the king's men wanted to get together and make sure this was in Mercedes' best interest. So they all do their meeting, have their little thing and all that stuff. And the day before the surgery, her dad was already in Phoenix. He was coming down that night for the surgery. We're ready to go. I'm a nervous freaking wreck. We were actually at a doctor's appointment for him when they called me, and they were like, we all got together. We just don't think this is in her best interest with her lung issues, how scarred they are. they told me there'd be like a 99% chance that she would not make it off the table. So at that point, as her mother, I was like, okay, we're not going to do the surgery. Okay, all right. So I had to call her dad, and I told him, I was like, I know you're already down here, but they're not doing the surgery. So he got to spend time with her at least. He got like 4 or 5 days to get to hang out with her, and she loved hanging out with him. So that was a plus. But that did mean that Mercedes was going to pass early. We thought, after talking to a lot of other people on Lois T, asking around, trying to find out how old were you or your family. Ooh, they're reconnecting. I don't know what that's doing to YouTube, but just asking how old were they if they didn't have surgery on their heart. How old were they when they passed? I was hearing some people were in their 40s, 50s, 70s. So I was like, okay, there's hope. Mercedes could possibly live a long life. She could possibly have a full life, get married, go do those, graduate high school, all those things. Great. Without the surgery. Okay, cool. Fast forward to December of last year, of 2019. She ends up full, so they sent us home. Not even a month later, we end up back in the hospital. Same thing. She's having a little bit of chest pain. So we go to the ER, they x-ray her, and the doctor showed me the 2 different x-rays. Let me see if I can actually pull those up and show them to you guys, because I know a lot of you have already seen them. Let me go back to my Facebook. Where's the thing? Bear with me, like I said. Let's see. But anyway, he showed me the 2 x-rays side by side. He told me this is December, this is January. In December's, everything looked normal. Normal lungs, normal heart, everything looked great. But then he showed me January's. And January's were different. They were kind of scary. Her heart looked huge. Like, I'm not a doctor, I didn't know what that meant, but her heart looked like it was at least 3 times bigger than it was in the first x-rays that we saw from December. So the doctor didn't tell me why. I don't know if he just didn't want to be the one to tell me why, but he told me, make an appointment with your doctor for tomorrow. And your doctor can go into more detail and explain things to you, because at this point, we're not really sure. So I was like, okay, no problem. We'll go see the doctor. Hi, Angel. I'll see you. So we get ready to go see the doctor, and her doctor has already looked over all her x-rays and everything in the hospital notes. Sorry, I don't want to be looking down the whole time. I'm trying to find those x-rays. Aha, found them. That was easy. Let me see. They're on Facebook, so you guys on Facebook, I'll show it to you too. But if you guys want to go look for them, they're on there. This is the first x-ray. I don't know how good that's going to look. I'm sorry. It's the first x-ray. And then this. Whoa, Mercedes, I don't want to look at your face. I want to look at the second x-ray.
Oh my
this
God.
Is the second x-ray. It's like there's no black space anymore. We go to her doctor, and her doctor looks at all her stuff. She'd already looked at everything from the hospital, and she's talking to us, and then she pulls me out of the room. And I had Googled it like an idiot. Parents aren't supposed to Google things when their kids are really sick, because we end up scaring the shit out of ourselves. I Googled it, and it said on Google that it was congestive heart failure. So I was like, okay, that doesn't sound like fun. That doesn't sound good. But I wanted to wait to see what Dr. Perry said. So we go to the doctor, and she pulls me out of the room, and she tells me, she's like, she's in congestive heart failure. And I just kind of nodded. I was like, yeah, I kind of had that feeling. That's what I did, the illegal, and I Googled, and I kind of had an idea that's what it was. So she's like, yeah. And I asked her, I was like, do I call her dad and have him come down here? She was like, no, we're not at that point yet. She's okay. She looks good. But now might be a good time to call hospice. Hearing that was hard. It was like, okay. I didn't. I waited about a month to call hospice. See, that was January. No, I waited 2 months. But I'm going to get to that later. So we have that conversation with the doctor. We go home. I explain everything to Mercedes. Everything. If you guys know her, I'm sure all of you guys do that are watching.
Again.
It's unstable again. It's trying to reconnect. Okay, I don't want to say anything important while I was trying to reconnect. Where was I?
You were about telling Mercedes about something?
Oh, yeah. I was explaining everything to Mercedes. And if you guys know her, I know you guys all know her. The ones that are watching on Facebook, I know you know her. How many are on here? So just 5. Yeah. So all you guys, I'm sure, know Mercedes. She had that I don't give a damn attitude. You know, this is my life. This is what I have to deal with. Fine. I'm going to deal with it. And I'm just going to roll with the punches. I'm just going to do my life, live my life, do my thing. No matter what. That's just how she was. She was freaking phenomenal. She was awesome. So, what's up? And I said, what do you want me to do when you stop having connection problems? Sorry. What do you want me to do when you pass away? Like, what do you want me to do with your body? Do you want to be buried, cremated? She stopped me. She goes, Mom, I want to be cremated. She already knew. Like, this kid was already thinking about these things. You're 15 or 14 at the time. So I was like, okay. Wasn't expecting such a fast answer, but all right. So we talked about a few other things, music that she wanted played at her funeral and things of that nature. So I knew what she wanted, which was good. We're going to fast forward to February 29th of this year, 2020. That was a very, very good day. We had been planning since her 14th birthday party for her quinceañera. We had that on the side for her. She was getting really tired. Stop being unstable. Connection. She was getting really tired. And it was harder for her to walk for long distances. You can go somewhere else if you don't want to be in the video anymore, weirdo.
No, that is making me get on the nerves.
But she's starting to get more and more tired. It was harder for her to walk any distance whatsoever. So she was in a wheelchair at her party. But the entire time, she had the biggest smile on her face, watching her friends dance, watching her family have fun, listening to us sing karaoke, listening to music. We had burritos and mini tacos. We had a snack bar. We had everything Mercedes wanted, we had. She opened all her gifts on her own, did her own thing. She just had a really, really good time. That was amazing. That made my heart feel so good to know that she got to have a blast, that she got to have so much fun. So that was great. That was the best thing that I think could have happened. She needed one final big blowout, just to celebrate herself. She deserved it. She deserved to celebrate herself every single day of the year, in my honest opinion. What do you think? Yeah. She was awesome. She was the best. She was incredible. And so after that was, about March. Okay. So yeah, over the next couple months, things just slowly progressed to get worse. In April, I had a talk with my boss, or before that I had a talk with my boss and told my boss what was going on. I told her, I was like, this is the situation. I'm going to have to leave eventually. So in April, like the mid-April, early April, I had to quit. It just got to the point where she needed me home all day, every day, because she needed a lot more help than she did originally. So I was like, all right, I got to quit my job. I just have to. I have no other choice. There's no way around it. No ifs, ands, or buts. I have to quit my job. So I did. They are holding my job for me. Thank God. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I'll be back as soon as I can. But after that, things were still progressively getting worse. In May, she lost, I wouldn't say she lost the ability to use her legs. It just got to where it was too much for her to walk at all, like at all. So we moved her. She lived at her computer desk. For those of you that know her, it's true. Girl lived at her computer desk. All I ever saw was the back of her damn head. She was always on YouTube playing games, watching her slime videos. That's what she wanted to do. That's what made her happy. Cool. I have my bedroom. So at night and in the morning, she could get to and from a little easier. Then it got too hard for her to do that. So she's like, Mommy, I just want to stay in your room. Because she was sleeping with me. She told me in March she told my sister in March that she was scared to sleep alone. And my sister asked her why. And she said, well, technically I'm dying. So that's her exact words. I'm not even kidding you. And so I talked to her about it. And I asked her, I was like, well, what are you scared of? Are you scared of dying? Or are you scared of dying alone? And she said, I'm scared of both. But she said, I'm more scared of dying alone. I was like, okay. I was like, my bedroom is your bedroom. I have a queen size bed. She was tiny. There was room. So we shared a room so she completely took over. On her laptop in there, watching TV on the PlayStation. We watched the entire series of Jessie, the entire series of iCarly together. We watched
Finding Nemo musical, Shrek
musical. Finding Nemo musical, Shrek musical. We watched all kinds of stuff. She just wanted to watch stuff, and she wanted to watch them with me. She refused to watch them by herself. She wanted me with her, and I wanted to spend as much time with her as I could. We couldn't go out because of,
COVID.
Caca. So we stayed home. We did our thing, and we just hung out. And it was nice. It was nice having that time with her. About mid-May, she completely lost use of her legs. She had absolutely no circulation going to her legs. She just had no use of them. So to the point where I was her legs. I had to hold her under her arms to help her get onto the potty and get back on the bed. Like, I had to help her do everything. So, and I know this sounds like I'm complaining, but I'm going to tell you this right now. I miss taking care of her so stinking much. Like, I miss it a lot. I feel I have a son, but he's 11. He's more independent.
10.
Or you're almost 11. Well, however old he is. And, he's independent. He can do his own thing. So for the most part, he doesn't really need much. I mean, I feed him. He bathes himself. He dresses himself. He brushes his own hair, brushes his own teeth. He washes his own TV, he watches TV on his own. He can work the thing by himself. So, he doesn't need a whole lot. So recently I've been feeling really useless. And it's a weird feeling. But I digress again. I really miss taking care of her a lot. But it was bad. There was a day her legs were so swollen, they were like 3 times bigger than her legs normally were. And girl had little chicken legs, but they were huge. And there was a day where the bottom, like the heel part, like this part of her foot popped open and she started leaking fluid. And I called the nurse from hospice. Oh, I fast forwarded too much. When I finally talked to hospice, sorry, I'm all over the place. My brain it's been scattered. Crazy story that you guys are not going to believe, I know, but I believe in this kind of stuff, and it helped me. I had to walk to the mortuary. It's not that far from where I live. As I'm walking, I thought I was going to be a wreck the whole time, admitting that my child was dying. As I'm walking there are like hundreds of butterflies just like going with me. They're flying in the same direction that I'm going. Now, my grandmother Gloria passed away years ago. And we always say, every time we see a yellow butterfly, oh, hey, that's grandma, that's her. So as I'm walking, I just felt so at peace. It felt like she was with me. I needed that really bad. So I get to the mortuary, have my little get together with the mortician and talk to her and all that stuff. And then as I'm leaving to come home, the butterflies are there. Fly with me all the way home. I was completely at peace. I didn't cry. I didn't have any issues. I was good. I was like, okay, I can do this, I think. So about a week later, I have an interview with the first person I talked to at hospice. I'm okay talking to him and everything. And he's like, well, why did you wait so long to call us? It was only like a month and a half. And I told him, I was like, I just felt like I was giving up on her if I called you guys. And I felt like I was admitting defeat. Those were my exact words. And as soon as he left, y'all, I lost my marbles. Because I did. I felt like I was letting her down. And I know I wasn't. But I felt like I was just giving up, basically. And I know that wasn't the case. I know that now. But we started with hospice. She saw her nurse 3 times a week. We had a pastor that was coming out once a week. Super nice. Everybody we dealt with were super duper nice. Thank you guys so much. It was beautiful. They were really kind. They helped us a lot. And it was to the point where Mercedes was in so much pain, they put her on morphine. She had to take Benadryl with that because she was getting really itchy. And that kept her comfortable for the most part. And like I said, at this point, she's in my room just chilling like a villain. And then back to mid-May, things got really bad. She couldn't even stand on her own. Like if I were to stand her up and let her go, she would have just crumbled to the floor. So I would help her with everything. It got to the point where the last week, she was hardly eating anything. And I told her, Mercedes, are you hardly eating because you can't feed yourself? You're just too weak. She said, yeah. I told her, honey, why didn't you tell me? That's why I quit my job. I'm here for you. Anything you need, I'm here. She's like, I don't know. But even still, when I would feed her, she would take 3 or 4 bites, and that was it. She just didn't have an appetite. She did have an appetite for Bomb Pops, though. She had 3 of those a day. So I told her, so you're getting frozen Kool-Aid, but you're not eating any food. Okay. If that makes you happy, be happy. That's all I wanted for her, was for her to be happy. So that last week was extraordinarily hard. She wasn't eating. She was losing more and more energy. Her nurse had to come by another day with more bandages for her foot because we had run out. And her nurse took a look at her legs. And at this point, her legs had red splotches all over them. And the look her nurse gave me, it was Tuesday. Tuesday is when she came. And the look her nurse gave me told me, it spoke volumes. The look she gave me told me, it's time. You need to prepare yourself, not days. It's coming soon. So that night, we go to bed. And usually she was going to bed before me. So she was already in bed. I went and got into bed with her, and I would snuggle up behind her and talk to her. Whether she woke up when I got on bed or not, I would snuggle up behind her and talk to her, kiss the back of her head. And as I'm talking to her, I just got this feeling in my gut that I needed to say some things to her. So I told her, I was like, Mercedes, I don't know if you're awake, but I need to tell you something. I told her, I was like, this is important. I want you to know that it's okay, that you don't have to fight anymore. I know you're tired. I know you're in pain. The last 2 days, she was in so much pain. The morphine wasn't helping. Nothing was helping. So I told her, I know you're in pain. I know you're miserable. It's okay to go. And I told her, Mommy will be fine. The family will be fine. We will miss you like crazy, but we will never, ever forget you or stop loving you in a million years. So I told her, it's all right. Stop fighting. Turn over, and I start crying. And I have a conversation with God, and I tell him it is not fair that she is in this much pain. And I was starting to selfishly wonder why I was being forced to watch my child feel this way. And why was she being forced to live this way? And I asked God, I said, please have mercy on my Mercy. She needs your mercy. She needs to go home with you. She just doesn't deserve to be on earth anymore in the state that she's in. I battled with myself a lot because of that. I felt like an asshole because I'm asking God to take her from me. Like, oh, I don't want her anymore. Take her. That's not what I meant. And I'm sure you guys all know that. But that's what I felt like I was saying. But I was just saying, she's in pain. Please let her be at peace. She doesn't deserve this. She doesn't deserve to live like this. So I fall asleep. About 5 o'clock, Mercedes wakes up and has to use the bathroom. I will never forget this as long as I live. So she gets up and she gets on the potty and she does her business. And as she's doing her business, I can't even remember what I said or did, but she was cracking up. She was laughing. She was in a good mood, just laughing her ass off. And I help her back up, clean her up, get her back into bed. And then I go, clean her potty, get all that situated, get myself back into bed. Tell her I love you, good night, kiss her on the head. I roll over and go to sleep. I'm like in that state where I'm awake but asleep. Like I'm almost asleep. And I moved, and when I moved, my elbow kind of brushed the back of her head. Just brushed it. And usually if that happened, whether she was asleep or awake, girl got mad. She'd be like, Mom, stop, So I was like, oh, baby, I'm so sorry. But she didn't say anything. So I turn and I look at her. And she's the kind of person that when she breathed, you could see it. Like her rib cage would just rise and fall, and you could just see her breathing. I didn't see anything. So I'm like, okay. I put my hand on her rib cage, and I didn't feel anything. So I put my hand up under her shirt and feel her back, trying to find a pulse, feel the front of her chest to see if I could find her heartbeat. Nothing. At this point, my heart knows. But my brain is telling me, no, we're going to check her artery right here. So I put my fingers on her neck. Nothing. I pick up her wrist to check her pulse right here. And when I lifted her arm up, it was so floppy. Let's see, who's saying things. I know, Mireya, I know. She was so, there was just nothing there. And my heart is breaking further. I'm already crying, but I'm just like, no, let me check the other wrist. Pick up the other wrist, and then I drop it down. And that's when my brain and my heart came together and were like, oh, okay. But I shook her anyway, because I didn't want it. I didn't want it. Like I wanted it, but I didn't want it. I wasn't ready. I was ready, but I wasn't ready. So I shake her, like, Mercy, Mama. And the second time I shook her, she rolled back. Her eyes were open. Her mouth was open. And there was absolutely no light in her face. And that girl, let me tell you, her face shone bright like a diamond. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh my God, Mom.
Yeah, I know. But she would walk into a room and light up the entire room. The entire room, no matter how big it was. She would light up the outside. There was no light. There was nothing. So at this point, I'm crying. I thought I would scream or freak out, but I was cool. I was crying, but I was cool. But then I did something weird that I still don't understand. I started looking around my room for something to help me, something. Don't know what I was looking for, but I was looking for something. And so I get up and I start making phone calls. I call the hospice nurse. I call hospice. I call her dad. I call her grandma. I call my sister. I call my mom. I call my best friend. I was just making calls. I was calling everybody and their brother. Called my uncle, who's her godfather, and his daughter, my cousin Desiree, is her best friend. So I called them to let them know. And the hospice guy told me, he's like, if any family want to come see her before the mortuary comes together, they're more than welcome to come see her. So I let everybody know. When I called my mom, little A was still asleep at this point. When I called my mom, I'm like crying. She was in the hospital at the time. And nothing serious, but she's in the hospital. She needed some antibiotics through an IV. But I called her, and she started crying and told me, she's like, I wanted to see her again after I came home. So that hurt my heart. I start crying harder. He hears me, and he comes out of his room, and he takes one look at me, and he goes, Mommy, please tell me you're not crying for the reason I think you're crying. All I could do is nod at him. I told him, stay out of my room. I don't want you to see her like that. So he did. He came and gave me a hug, and people started showing up. After hospice, I couldn't tell you who the first person was that got here. I just can't. My brain was focused on Mercedes. I could not tell you who got here first. But the people I believe that got to see her were my best friend Alex, my sister, her grandma, her great-grandma, her great-grandpa. Who else? I know there's someone. Oh, her godfather, her best friend Desiree, who's also her cousin. They all got to see her before they took her. We're all here. I had a lot of support. I've always had a lot of support through all of this. Through her whole life, I've had a lot of support. I have very supportive family and very supportive friends. So thank you guys. a lot because I've needed the support. But we were all here and they were like, okay, the mortuary's here. So they go to the room, they put her on the gurney thing, and they bring her out and they're like, everybody can say their last goodbyes if they would like. So I told everybody, I was like, I need to go last. You guys go ahead. So everybody's saying their goodbyes. And I told little Leia, if you want to, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. So he goes and he gives her a kiss and tells her she's the best big sister ever. And he goes to say goodbye to her and he turns around and looks at me. I will never forget the look on his face. And he tells me, Mommy, I can't. And I was like, it's okay. So he came over to me and gave me a big hug. We're both crying. I give him a kiss on the head and I walk over to her. And when I tell you I kissed every inch of her face, I kissed every inch of her face. Every inch. I kissed all of it. And knowing her, in my head, I could hear her yelling at me because she hated that. But yeah, he broke my heart too. And because when I first told him, he just looked like he was in shock. He didn't really cry. When I first told him, he didn't have any kind of reaction. But when I stood up, and at this point, I have to say this part because I felt kind of bad. But at this point, I hadn't hugged my sister at all. Since she got there, I did not hug her for a reason. When I stand up after I'm done talking to Mercedes and telling her goodbye, and they start wheeling the gurney away, I dart directly to my sister and just lost my shit. Like, I was crying harder than I've ever cried in my entire life. And let me tell you, I'm a crier. Ask anybody who knows me. I'm a damn crier. See. Oh, I'm sorry, Gippy. I didn't mean to break your heart even more, but I think all our hearts, a little piece of our hearts died that day when Mercedes died. I honestly believe that. But I'm like hugging her and I can hear how loud I am because I'm like scream crying, but I'm unaware that I'm right by her ear. So I was in my own place. I was in my own pain. If any of you have lost children, it's a bad feeling. It's a very, very, very bad feeling. And it's another thing that you can't describe. You cannot describe. Your child comes into this world. You can't describe the feeling you feel then. Your child leaves this world before you. You cannot describe that to anyone. People go through pain. I know you are, and I'm always here for you no matter what. I love you very much. People go through pain all the time. Broken bones, childbirth, heartbreak because of significant others, parents dying, grandparents dying, any other family, friends passing. It hurts. Life hurts, period. Everybody goes through their pains. Losing a child is the worst pain you will ever feel in your entire life. It's weird because your heart physically hurts. It's not just an emotional pain. It physically pains your heart. It physically hurts. My heart hurts every single day. Every single day. It's just, I choose to deal with it in a way that I don't let it keep me down. I have another kid. I have a son that I love to death who needs me. Yes, he's more independent, but he still needs a mother here mentally, to take care of him. There are days where I just want to lay in and I don't want to do anything. I don't want to take care of him. I don't want to take care of me. I don't want to do anything. I just want to lay in bed all day. But as a mommy, if you guys are mommies, you get your ass up and you do your job regardless of what's going on. If you're sick, whatever you're going through, you get your ass up and you do your job. Period. That's just how it is. A lot of friends here. I had a lot of support. My connection is unstable again, kind of like me. I'm unstable. So I was lucky in that sense. I'm trying to figure out who that is. I think it's Kimba. Hi, Kim. But it was a horrible, horrible day. I go to bed that night, and leading up to her passing, I hardly slept at all. I was sleeping maybe 3-4 hours a night because I was so worried that she was going to pass. So I hardly slept at all. The night she died, because she died that morning. She died early that morning. It was 5:30 in the morning when she passed. I go to bed, and I mean, I slept so good. And I sound like an ass saying that, but I did. I slept amazingly because I wasn't worried anymore. I wasn't scared anymore. I wasn't feeling bad in that sense anymore. I was just feeling bad in a totally different sense. But I slept so good. I was surprised when I woke up in the morning how well I slept. Got up in the morning. She wasn't in bed with me. That was hard, but I was okay. Get up, go to the kitchen, and I decide I'm going to clean out the refrigerator. I just needed something to do to keep my mind occupied and not thinking about things that I've been through the last 24 hours. So I started cleaning out the fridge and did a pretty good job. Those of you who know me, I don't like to clean at all, but I did a pretty good job. I stand up and go to clean the freezer. I'm cleaning it out, and I look on the door of the freezer, and there are 3 bomb pops on the door. I see these bomb pops, get onto the floor, and start crying. My mind is going, who's going to eat the bomb pops? Like, I was so distraught over these bomb pops because I don't like them. Little A doesn't like them. I was like, what am I going to do with the bomb pops? Like, she's not here. Who's going to eat them? I was so sad over bomb pops. So I sat there and cried for a little bit. Got up, finished cleaning, did some dishes. Yeah, did some dishes. I don't do dishes, and I did dishes. And just go about my day. I did this thing where I would just completely black out. And I don't mean like pass out, black out, but I would, instead of thinking of anything, my brain would go completely black. I wouldn't think of anything. I know. Yeah. We were supposed to make slime that Sunday and Saturday. I was just like, oh shit. Because somebody had given her $100 to do with whatever she wanted. She bought $130 something worth of slime making things. And on Sunday is family day, and she wanted my sister, my nieces and nephews, her brother and myself and her to get together and just make slime. So we were like, yeah, let's make slime. Cool, we got it. She passed away Thursday. We didn't get to make slime with her. But it was sucky. But I would just go into my own blackness. I would just look and just be in an abyss so I didn't have to think about anything. Nothing. Just nothing. That was my happy place for a while, where I didn't have to think about anything. Then now I submerge myself into YouTube, whether it's making videos or watching videos. Listening to music is the biggest thing for me. Music has always done that for me, though. No matter what I'm going through, emotionally, music helps me. Why are you trying to reconnect again? YouTube is over here being a butthole. But hopefully you guys can still see everything and whatever, because my internet's being weird. But yeah, so I just delve into music and YouTube and just trying to keep my thoughts to myself. It took a while, but we finally got her remains. She picked her urn herself, by the way. I put a bunch in my Amazon cart, and I told her, I was like, pick the one you want. Her favorite color is black. And her second favorite is purple. This is the darkest purple. And I had a feeling this one she was going to choose, and this is the one she chose. So this is where she is. This is my Mercedes. And it's funny because when I got her ashes, the pastor from hospice brought them to me. Let's see. Okay, love you too, Gippy. Bye. Give the kids kisses for me. I got her ashes, and I sat down in my chair after the pastor left, and I was holding it like this, and I looked at little A, and I said, this is the only way I'm ever going to be able to hold my baby again. And I just fell apart. He's usually pretty good at taking care of me when I'm crying, when I'm sad, but he was scared because I completely lost it. Like I was crying hard. And I sat there crying and crying and crying. I miss you. I love you. Just talking to her. And finally, to make myself feel better, I wanted to make myself laugh. So I start going, I'm going to miss when she yells at me. And I'm going to miss, all the silly things she said. And I'm still crying, but I'm trying to bring myself back from the brink of insanity. And I told him, like, when I would get into bed, before I would go to sleep, and I would talk to her, after I would talk to her and everything, I would rub her butt cheeks. I know that's weird, but, that's just what I would do. I don't know if it was for good luck. I don't know what it was. But rub her little butt cheeks, turn over, and go to sleep. So I told him, I was like, I'm even going to miss rubbing her butt cheeks. And I was like, then that made me cry harder. So I leaned back, and I rubbed the bottom of the urn. And that little lady was like, there, I just rubbed her butt cheeks. I started laughing. Made me feel better. So that helped. I don't want to cover up her beauty there. So that helped me calm down a little bit. But it's been a hard, very hard month. Her 1 month is coming up on Sunday, Father's Day. It'll be 1 month since she passed. Probably not going to have a very good day that day. And I guess it's a good thing that I had to self-isolate until this coming Thursday, because I don't know if I'm going to do very well on Sunday. And maybe it's a bad thing that I'm going to be all alone. But little A is here. I have little A. But yeah, it'll be a month on Sunday since she passed. It's been rough. Very, very rough. But I'm stronger than I give myself credit for. I've done better than I thought I was going to do. I really thought I was just going to be a hot mess constantly. For the most part, I stay pretty cool, calm, and collected for the most part. Try to keep myself busy so I'm not constantly thinking about it. I still have my days where they're just not good days and I want to cry all day. That's just how it is. But yeah, I try not to, because she wouldn't want me to be crying all the damn time. It got on her nerves when I cried anyway. Everything got on her nerves. She was constantly rolling her eyes at me and telling me, It's like I don't know if she was a baby cow or if she was a goat. I don't know what. I don't know what was going on with her. But do it to my brother the most. I think she did it to my brother the most. He would pretend to steal one of her candies or her chips or something. Go, oh, I'm going to steal it. And he'd go over and grab it. And she'd go, and she'd smack his hand. That's just what she did. But yeah, it's been a hard month, guys. Hard couple months. Now I got to get knee surgery, so I got to wait for that so I can go back to work. But if anybody on YouTube has any questions they would like to ask me, the floor is yours, so I can answer a couple questions before I leave. Facebook, thank you guys for being here. Leave comments if you guys want to ask questions or anything, and I'll get back to you guys on there. I'm going to let Facebook go because I started Facebook first. So I'll talk to you guys later, the two of you that are still here. Bye, Mama. Love you guys. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later over here on Facebook. Yeah, so if anybody has any questions on YouTube, the floor is yours. Do your thing. Let's see. I'm going to get closer to you. Hello. Oh, I should put my glass back on so I can see, right? I don't even know who all is here because Gippy left.
Maybe Bernice and Thomas are there.
I thought you were asleep.
I'm trying not to.
Let's see. Okay. Does anybody have anything they want to say? Any last thoughts? Any comments? Any questions? Anything before I go? Anything? Anybody? Anywhere? Anyone? Anyone just want to pop in and say hi? Anything? Because I'm not ready to go. I don't know what I'm going to do after this. I'll probably get back on YouTube and watch some videos. Where's my thing? There it is. All right, guys. Finally got this video made. Finally got this video made, even though I had to do it live because it wouldn't work for whatever the hell reason. I couldn't get a editor to do the video that I made. I guess it was too big. I love you too, yeah, y'all. We still need to do our girls' night. We still need to get that situated. We got to make a group chat. I am free as of Thursday, so maybe this weekend I'll talk to Jazz, Des, and Gippy, and we'll see what we can do there. But yeah, we got to get that. We got to do that. Yeah. Woo, girls' night. Yeah. Yeah. So, I know I need to get that group chat situated, and maybe I'll do that after this. I don't know. I don't know what everybody's doing, but yeah. I love you guys. I will see you guys later. I have 2 videos I've already recorded. They're both chit chat makeup videos. So those will be coming if I can figure out how to edit those. They're a lot shorter than the other one I did. So hopefully I can get that one edited and uploaded soon. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. If anybody else has anything to say, just comments. And I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Love you guys. And thank you for watching. Bye.